Hello everyone, it's Nick Lawson with CDC Take Charge Software, and today is January the 15th, 2013, and we are starting a new lesson planner which will focus on memo fields and text objects and how to query memo fields, write to memo field objects, search memo fields, and different ways to append and post that information between tables in Alpha software. In order to take and do this lesson, we're going to use an application that I wrote actually back in 2005 in version 5 of Alpha Software. It has since been upgraded to version 8, but that's where it sits right now. And it hides behind our little desktop clock, just like our newer version does, only it doesn't have the calendar attached to it. So, we click our display menu. It pops up our list manager, and basically this is part of the Take Charge suite that allows us to take and replace the Windows start menu with our own. It provides all the features that Windows has on its start menu, plus a whole lot more. When you first bring it up, it lists all the different modules that are in the Take Charge suite application. What we're going to focus on is the King James Bible Reader. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and I'm going to take and click our open button. You notice that once I selected it, it now says open King James Reader module. Okay, once I click it, it takes and converts the list to all the books of the Bible. That's Old Testament, New Testament, and Revelations. Now, if I want to take and read one of the books, I simply select it. So we select Genesis. Our button now switched to Open Bible to Genesis. I click the button, and here it is. It's the entire Genesis book in the Bible. Now, if people are like me, which I'm sure a lot of them are, and the eyesight's not as good as it used to be when we were in our 20s and 30s, we have the ability to magnify. So we click our magnify button and it comes up nice and large. Also, if that's still not big enough, we can make it bigger, or you can make it smaller. Okay, standard memo stuff, so nothing special going on there. So we're going to go ahead and close that. And let's close our little reader. Down here, we have buttons that change the view in our list window for our Bible. Um, since we selected the King James Bible Reader, our buttons now say View Books, View Book and Chapter, Book Chapter Verse, Life Issues, and Search Keywords. So let's look at those. So we've already seen books. Now let's look at Book and Chapter. So I select it. There you go. It's now changed our list to be all chapters in all books from the Old Testament to Revelations. So I can just pick one, all right, and click on Open to Revelations 10. And here it is, Revelations 10, 1 through 11. Pretty easy. And the same thing applies. Now, if I want to take and see book, chapter, verse, this takes a little longer to do because there's actually over 35,000 verses in the Bible. And we are displaying a list of all the verses with memo fields. So that's a lot of reading to do. But here it is. So now as you can see, it's Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4, right on down the list. And there's all your other books all the way down to Revelations. It's a very easy way for people to find what they're looking for. So again, let's take and pick uh, um, a verse to look at. We'll go with the very first, Genesis 1:1, in the beginning. So now when it says open, it says open to Genesis 1:1. And there you go. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Doesn't get any easier than that. Well, probably wasn't easy for him, or maybe it was. Okay, now, life issues. This is something that's unique, and I haven't seen it in other Bible programs that are out there. What we've done is we've gone through and created links to all the different verses and books and chapters that deal with specific life issues that all of us have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we handle things okay, and sometimes we don't. When we don't, we need comfort. So a good place to find that comfort is here. Let's say, for example, you have a problem with your finances and you've lost your job, you had a bad day in the market, who knows what the issue may be. Well, here you have, we can select Psalms, uh, chapter 50, verse 10 through 15. So there you go. I want to go ahead and open that up. And it goes out and it finds it, and there it is. So Psalms chapter 50, verse 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now, while we're looking at this, let's look at the different buttons that are over here. We looked at magnify, and of course save is save. In the Take Charge suite, we have a personal journal for people. So now they can take these verses and they can export them to their journal when they write their daily notes and use it to highlight or mark important issues and problems that they're trying to resolve and deal with. Also, you can take and put it in your to-dos. Let's say you have an important day, so you find a verse that deals with staying positive and giving your best effort. So you take and put that in your daily to-do so that when you print it out and make your travel copy, it's right there to carry with you throughout the whole day. You can export it to an email. We're not the only ones that deal with life issues day in and day out. Our friends do as well. And sometimes a comforting word from us to a friend makes all the difference to them in the world. Here you can search and find by the different life issue a verse that you think that might help them. Take and bring it into the reader, export it out to an email, and you can send it out as the body of the email or as an attachment. Send it to them, and just maybe it might help. And of course, you can print your own travel copy of all the verses that you do. There you go. Now, let's search for keywords. This one's pretty cool. When you take and type in a keyword, we'll use giant. I like doing that because people say, giants are in the Bible? Well, yeah, they are. Uh, so let's go ahead and click it. Now, what happens over here is it presents a list of every verse in every book from beginning to end that refers to giant. So in Genesis, this one's pretty popular. Everybody knows this one. We open it up. It's Genesis 6:4. Says, there were giants in the earth in those days. Well, that's as clear as it gets. So uh, now we can take and look for a different one. Let's go to Samuel 21:22. There you go. These four were born to the giant in Garth. Well, how about that? Um, Giants everywhere throughout the Bible, all the way down to Job. Okay, now we've looked how it works in the list menu, but let's look at it in the Take Charge suite. Here, the Take Charge suite is basically presents all the applications that are on the Start menu as direct action buttons and puts them in a form where they're all tied together and easy to manage and navigate. So we want the King James Reader. If I click on here, it changes the data in the center of the screen, but all my navigation controls stay up top. So now I can take and go back to my home page and pick the calculator or some other module. I can go to my web list. I can look at my contacts. I can do my application list. I can go to my note writer. I can play a Sudoku game right there. I can open up my custom Take Charge desktop and my desktop applications that are provided freely with Windows in most cases. Um, or I can go back to where I was. So if I go back, I want to go to Home and then reselect King James Bible Reader. So this is the Take Charge suite. Pretty cool and easy for viewing all of your data that's in your application. Now here, this was the last selection we made um, from the list manager. But let's say along with this, I want to add another verse. So I can take and change my search by to book chapter verse and bring it on up. Again, it takes a minute to do that. And now, um, here it comes. I can either type in my progressive lookup. So let's go to Exodus. There you go. And we want Exodus 1, 2. And we're going to go ahead and not replace the section in our reader. We're going to add to it. There you go. We have our original verse that we had in here, and then we added Exodus 1, 2. We could add another one. Just scroll down. They're all here. Let's pick Isaiah 19:6. Add that. There you go. Now, the way this comes in handy is typically when you go to church, the pastor hands out little pamphlets, and these pamphlets will have a verse from the Old Testament, a verse from the New Testament, and a gospel lesson. Now you can bring that home, find all those verses, and put them in here. And what we'll have in the new application is a button that allows you to take and bookmark that selection and type in your own thoughts or the words of the pastor in a sermon, how they all tie together. That would be pretty cool and pretty interesting. Then you'd be able to do the same thing. Take that and email it to somebody, add it to your personal journal, do whatever you want with it. So basically, that's what we're going to do. Well, in our lesson, we are not going to use the Take Charge Suite application. What we're going to do is take and strip this out of the Take Charge Suite and build it as a standalone application, just like the other lessons that we've done. That'll allow us to be more versatile and give you the opportunity to see more things that can be done with this type of application. Well, I'm looking forward to doing this with you guys, and I hope you all are looking forward to following along. Um, the first lesson will actually start in the next couple days, and once again, thanks always for stopping by and watching what we do. And if you have any questions or need any help with anything, absolutely feel free to contact us. We'll be glad to answer your questions. Have yourself a great day. Thank you.